Okay, let me come back again. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi amma ba'd. Inshallah, today we inshallah analyze this called isti'aza. Isti'aza means seeking Allah's refuge. Remember this point. Remember this point that, yes, brother. So remember this point that whenever in Arabic language, please pay attention, you get this alif, sin, and ta in the start of a verb. It comes for the meaning of seeking, to seek something, like istighfar, seeking forgiveness, istikhara, seeking Allah's mashwara, Allah's consultation, consulting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this phrase, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, or actually sentence, it is called isti'aza. And sometimes we call it ta'awuz with ta, ain, waw, and za. Ta'awuz or isti'aza, which means seeking Allah's protection. Now, with regard to the ahkam of the Quran, it is mandatory. It is the amr, it is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whenever you start your recitation of the Quran, fasta'iz billah, always seek Allah's refuge. So saying a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim is a command, is a hukum. We must do it only in the start. For example, if somebody is reciting, let's suppose 10 surahs, when you start your recitation, just you say once in the start, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. That's it. So remember this point. Now, let's inshallah now analyze this phrase, this sentence, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So as we always do, let's begin with the first word, A'udhu. My question is, A'udhu, what is it? Is it ism or is it fail or is it harf? And why is your answer whatever your answer is? Anybody wants to tell me from the people online?
Brother, is it fail?
Okay, good question, good answer. What kind of, because fail can be madi, mudare, or amr. Which one is it?
Muzare.
It is mudare, brother Asif. Obviously, if it is mudare, now we need to know that in our chart of mudare, at what number is it?
13.
Excellent, excellent. And it is, and the reason we know, and by the way, obviously I am using all of these terms, what number and chart, and I am having the assumption that we all know our level 1 because we use these terms in level 1. Okay, so now the reason we need to know the number of fail in the chart, so we can identify its inside doer. That's the main job. Now A'udhu is number 13, and A'udhu has the doer ana, for your own self, ana, mutakallim or first person pronoun. Okay, so A'udhu, first of all, A'udhu is a fail, and it is fail mudare. That's the first point. Second point is, inside of A'udhu, we have a built-in file, and that built-in file inside of A'udhu is ana. And this ana is the file. And now we all know the concept of sometime outside file, but remember this point, please pay attention. Outside file can only be if your fail is from the chart either number 1 or number 4. That's it. Let me repeat again. We have 2 types of file: inside built-in file and a outside file. Inside we call it, there's a fancy term, they call it damir mustatar, hidden pronoun. Mustatar means hidden. We call the satar. Satar means the hidden part of the body. So mustatar means thing which is hidden, and damir mean pronoun. So inside file, because now inshallah at level 2, now we can use this inshallah fancy terms. Okay, inside file is called damir mustatar, hidden pronoun. And sometimes your file is outside, we call that ism zahir. Zahir mean clear, apparent. And now I just mentioned that outside file or clear ism as a file can only come if your fail is either number 1 in the chart, which is a he, or number 4, which is a she. Other than that, you cannot have a outside, which means in this case your file is fixed, ana. It cannot be outside. So we have done with the auzu and billah, and we got two. You got the fail, you got the file. What else you can get in jumlatul failure? Because you got two things. You got your fail, you got your file. What else you can possibly have in jumlatul failure? Number 1 is maf'ul, and number 2 mutalliq bil fail. Now let's see what else we have in this example. Let's move on to billahi. Now our first question will be billahi. How many words? These are 2 words. Brother Ayan, can you separate them, please? Excellent. Ba and Allahi. What is ba? MashaAllah. Ba is a jar, and because of jar, Allahi is majroor, which means this billahi is a jar majroor phrase. Let me write it here. It is a jar majroor phrase. And we know that jar majroor phrase inside of jumla failya is called what? Mutaalliq bil fail. Remember this point. Jar majroor phrase inside of jumla failya is called mutaalliq bil fail. Mutaalliq bil fail. Clear? Now let's keep moving. Minash shaitani. First of all, min and then ash-shaytani. We all know that min is a preposition, which means ash-shaytani will be majroor, as you can clearly see ash-shaytani in jar status. Okay, and it is because of min. So min and ash-shaytani, this min and ash-shaytani part together is our another jar majroor. Jar and majroor, and which means this is another mutaalliq bil fail. Mutaalliq number 2. This is mutaalliq bil fail number 1, mutaalliq bil fail number 2. Now let's translate it. Auzu, I come in protection. Sometimes we say I seek protection. It does not say, there's no alif, sin and ta. Sin and ta gives the meaning of seeking. Auzu, I come in protection. Billahi, with Allah. Minash shaitani, min means from the shaitan. Ar-rajimi, I think it's missing here. Okay. Auzu billahi minash shaitani nir-rajim. Okay. So I'm just putting this arrow to analyze ar-rajim, which is hidden. Okay. So ar-rajim, please pay attention. Ar-rajimi. What status by Abdul Bari? Ar-rajimi. Jar. Is it ism, fail, or harf by Abdul Bari, by the way? Ar-rajim. How do you know? MashaAllah. Alif lam is a clear sign that ar-rajimi is a ism, and there's a one more sign in this one, and that is the kasra. If a word ends with kasra, that's always ism. So ar-rajimi is a ism in jar status. Now question is that what will be the label for ar-rajimi? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Look at translation. I come in protection with Allah from the shaitan, the rejected, the casted out. Okay. Now, which means that ar-rajim is describing the shaitan. Is that right? Which means that shaitan is mawsoof and its sifa is ar-rajim. So ar-rajim is the sifa and ash-shaytani is playing the role of mawsoof. Which means that min, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Min is jar, ash-shaytanir rajimi in one bucket is majroor. Why? Because ash-shaytani and rajimi are connected together. You cannot separate them. Before we said that min is jar, ash-shaytan is majroor. Now we'll say min is jar, ash-shaytan rajim is majroor. Because that is connected together, becoming mawsoof sifa. Is there any question somebody want to ask about isti'aza? Please remember this term isti'aza. This is called isti'aza, seeking Allah's protection. Or another word is ta'awuz. Ta'awuz. Both are the terms used for, as basmala is the term for Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Isti'aza or ta'awuz is the term for this one. I said in the start that before recitation, saying this isti'aza is a command, it's a hukam, we must do it. Okay. Any question about this one from anybody?
So this sentence, it doesn't have maf'ul.
Excellent. It has no maf'ul. And let me give you, now inshallah we can handle these things. There are two types of fail. One is called lazim, other is called mutaaddi. One of them does not require maf'ul, and this fall in that category. What is lazim? What is mutaaddi? Inshallah, it will come very soon. Mutaaddi, mim, ta, ain, dal, and ya. Mutaaddi. You know, infectious. Bismillah, brother.
Here, auzu means I seek protection.
I come in protection.
I'm in protection.
Yes.
So, like, what is the main verb over here? Actually, I just want to know.
Okay. Ain, alif, and za. Aza, ya'uzu. Now, good question, brother. Okay, let me inshallah preempt something, inshallah, which is coming very soon, inshallah. These things are coming, inshallah. There are three letters, alif, waw, and ya. These three are called huruf illa. Huruf illa. Illa mean some problem. Illa mean cause. They have some issue with them. They are sick, for example. Okay. Alif, waw, and ain. If any of the fail in its original letters has any of these, like either alif or waw or ain, we call that this fail is in a special category of fail, and aza, ain, alif, and za is in that special category. Why? Because it is one of letter is alif. Aza, ya'uzu. Okay. Aza is the madi version. Ya'udu is the mudari version, and is ain zal is the command version. Aza, ya'uzu, is. Brother, clear? Inshallah, now the detail that how, you know, those three letters work, inshallah, it will be coming on its own time. Because the question was asked, so the answer, brother, is aza is the original form. Aza, ya'uzu, and is the command version. Okay. And secondly, as I said before, inshallah, we will learn that when any of the fail has any of these letters inside of it, alif, waw, and ya. It's a special category of fail. Yes, yes. It can be in the start, like alif, waw, or ya can be in the start, can be in the middle, can be in the end.
It means the sequence of alif, ain, and waw, it cannot be changed. It should be together.
No. I said that those three specific letters, alif, waw, and ya, who are huruf illat, they can, when they come in the construction of a verb, they make it a special kind of verb, and they can come in its start, they can come in its middle, they come in the end.
But they will come together in this sequence. Alif, ain, and waw.
No, brother. Brother, you are saying the wrong. I'm saying alif, waw, and ya. You are saying alif, ain, and something. Yeah. So anybody from online people has any questions? So Bismillah, you can ask your question, because in the start, inshallah, it will be very slow, but alhamdulillah, I am more than sure it will inshallah pick up very soon, inshallah. Okay, no more questions? Okay, now let me cover one thing, inshallah, today, which we are going to use because in our analysis of the surahs, and we did not discuss this one in our level 1. It's a small concept of asma al-mawsula. And because they are going to be used quite often in the analysis. By the way, I did not forget that we are doing the Suratul Ikhlas. Okay, I still remember that. Okay, shall I come back to that? Yeah. So let me just inshallah open that one topic inshallah which we want to discuss today. Yeah, I just open that one first so I can show that to you. Just give me 1 second. I open up that file. Okay, so let's inshallah discuss this concept of, just remove this one for a while so you can see the heading first. Okay, so as you can see, the heading is Al Ismul Mausul, relative pronoun. Now, what is it? A word such as that, which, who, which begins a relative clause. Inshallah, I'll explain all of them in a minute. So a word such as that, which, or who, which begins a relative clause. This relative clause describes the noun which came before it. Keep in mind this whole thing. Now, inshallah, everything will be clear after this example. Now, let me come to this example, inshallah, and it will be then clear. So look at the example. The person who was with me yesterday is my employee. As you can see that I have underlined who was with me yesterday. Is that right? This who was with me yesterday is called a clause. Clause is sometime within the sentence, you get a part which conveys full meaning on its own, but it is the part of that sentence. It's called clause. That's what clause is, okay? Now, I said that a word such as that, which, and who. In this example, who is starting a clause. Is that right? Because this whole clause is starting with what? With who. Okay. And then second thing was, this clause describes the noun which came before it. In this example, the person is the noun which is being described by this clause. Now read the definition for yourself, inshallah, and ask me if it's not clear now. After the example, read again the description of Ismul Mawsul. Boys, I'm going to ask you questions at the end, so please keep paying attention, okay? Is this clear now? So now let's look at these last three lines. Who is the word which began the clause? Who was with me yesterday is the whole clause. And this clause is describing what? The person. Now you may be thinking, you just simply give the name of, for example, Ahmad was with me yesterday, the end of story. You know, why the whole thing? Sometime you need to tell the listener something which can help him to understand who you are talking about. And maybe that person has only this information about that guy, that he has seen that guy with you yesterday. That's all he knows. So basically, you are talking to someone and you give him a piece of information that can help him to understand that who you are talking about. And that information is dependent on what the listener knows about that guy. So you refer to that part.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be a thing.
Yeah, anything, yes, anything. You are right, anything. So basically, something comes in the start, then it is described by that clause. You are right, Brother Abdul Bari. So now let me, inshallah, if there's no question, let's move on then. Look at the labels of this kind of composition. The person who was with me yesterday is my employee. This was the whole sentence. Okay, now who will be labeled as Ismul Mawsul? This part which initiate the clause, this part is called Ismul Mawsul. Number two, was with me yesterday. This after the who part is called what? Sila. So Mawsul and Sila with Swad, Lam and Ta marbuta, Sila. So you will say who is the Mawsul, and with me yesterday is the Sila. Mawsul and Sila together is called Jumlatul Mawsula. Ask me if there's anything not clear to any one of you regarding this slide. Inshallah, I'll show you the example as well in a minute, but just want to make sure this thing first.
So Jumlatul Mawsula mean clause.
Yes, exactly. That inner clause, because that Jumlatul Mawsula is a complete Jumla on its own as well, but it is part of the Jumla.
Yep. Clear.
So now let's look at next slide. Let me just move this one here. Okay, now you can see clearly. Types of Asmaul Mawsula. There are two types. One is called special Asmaul Mawsula. Special. What are those? These are the ones you read in the Quran day in, day out. Allazi is singular, masculine. Its pair is Allazani, and its plural is Allazina. Allati is singular, feminine. Allatani, feminine, pair. Allati. Now, as you can see, if you remember the Quranic ayah, whatever you know, most commonly you just see these two, Allazi and Allazina. Rest of them are very rare. For example, when Allah talks about the Zani and the other guy, say Allah Zani yati yanihuma. Then he talks about to Allah Zani. But mostly you see Allazi and Allazina. Now, what it means, by the way. Okay, look at this one. Allazi means the one who. Allati mean the one who. The difference is it is masculine, it is feminine. So Allazi mean the one who. Allati mean the one who, female. Allazani, in translation, those who, but they are two in number. And likewise, Allatani is those who. And Allazina, those who. Allati, those who. But we know grammatically they are feminine and masculine. Now, these are called special small mawsula, and these are called common ones. The common asma mawsula, and the most used are these two, ma and man. Why there is not min? Okay, min is a preposition. Man. Man zallazi yukridullaha qardan hasana. That man. Man ya'mal salihan. That man. Okay, so man mean who, and ma. Now you may be thinking, I have learned one kind of ma which means not. For example, khalaka, he created. Ma khalaka, he did not create. But sometimes you say, Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falak min sharri ma khalaka. Min sharri ma khalaka. This time this ma is not, he did not. This time this ma is what he created. Now you may be thinking that what is the way for me to distinguish the ma of negation from the ma of mawsula? My answer is, I don't know. Okay. And the reason is, this will come with vocabulary. For example, look at this one. If you look at Surah Falak, Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falak. Say, I seek refuge of the Rabb of Falak. Min sharri ma khalak. From the shar of ma khalaka. Whatever he created. If you say from the shar of, he did not create, it does not make any sense. So you have to say from the shar of what he created. So it comes with the vocabulary. I personally, I went to different books to find something to give it to you. So you can know just by sight, but I have not found so far. Inshallah, I have not given up. Inshallah, I will keep looking for you. But one answer for now is, if you will have a ma of Mosula and you try to translate it as ma of negation, you will see clearly that translation is not making any sense. As in the example of Sudul Falak. You can try inshallah today just to make sense of this, what I'm saying. So ma and man are called a small Mosula, and they are common small Mosula, and this Allazi, Allazani are the specific ones, Maksus. Is clear? Now let's look at how it is working in the text of the Quran. Look at this example. Allahu allazi khalaqa as-samawati wal arda. Now, allazi, is that right? In this example, you can clearly see before allazi you get Allahu. Is that right? Which means Allahu is that object which is being described by the clause allazi khalaqa as-samawati wal arda, which means allazi will be called ismul mawsul. Okay, khalaqa as-samawati wal arda, complete jumlatul failiya. By the way, khalaqa fail madi, khalaqa word, created word, as-samawati first maf'ul, wal arda second maf'ul. So these are two maf'ul, by the way, and khalaqa is fail madi, which means khalaqa as-samawati wal arda is a complete jumla. Please pay attention. Allazi is ism mawsul. Khalaqa as-samawati wal arda, the complete jumla is sila. Allazi mawsul and the whole jumla sila together is jumlatul mawsula. For who? For Allahu. You said Allah, the one who created the heaven and the earth, yet you have not given any information yet. You can see clearly. You just introduce to the listener that who is Allah. After this, you will give the information. But so far, within this thing, you can see you have got already a jumlatul failure. One more example. Yeah. Arda. Let me remove this arda, because it's maful. Maful has to be in nasab status. You might be thinking about as-samawati. It is plural. As-samawati. Yeah, ati. Okay, ati could be nasab, ati could be jar. Yes, atun, atin, atin. Yes, both of them are. As-samawati is in nasab, and wal arda is also in nasab. Okay. If nobody is talking from the online people, my assumption is inshallah you are with us on the same page. Okay, so let's inshallah look at one more example. Okay, look at this example. Innal ladzina kafaru lan tughni anhum amwaluhum wala auladuhum min Allahi shay'a. The ayah continues. Okay, inna, we know what is inna. Inna is from the list in the family. Okay, so inna will become mubtada. Whatever you got after inna will become your ism of inna. And allazina, you see, allazina will remain allazina because it is mabni. But you know as a student that in this case allazina is in nasab status. Why? Because of inna. Because always right after the inna, what do you get? A ism in nasab status. This allazina is playing that role, by the way. But our topic is not this one. Our topic is about allazina. Okay, now look at this one. Allazina is introducing that clause. So allazina will be ism mawsul. Clear? Kafaru, by the way, kafaru, what is it? Ism fil harf. Ism, subhanallah. Kafaru, brothers and sisters, kafaru. Kafara. Kafaru, fail madi, brothers, fail madi. Number 3 in the chart. Okay, kafaru. Because Brother Abdul Bari, it should be kafiruna.
I was thinking, whenever I see kafara,
Okay, so for now we know that kafara is madi, kafara, then kafaru, kafarat, kafarata, kafarna, kafarta, kafartuma, kafartum, kafarti, kafartuma, kafartunna, kafartu, kafarna. Maazallah. Okay, so is this point clear now? So allazina is your ism mausul. Kafaru is a complete jumla failure on its own, because we all know every fail is a complete jumla. Why? Because kafaru has got both things, is a fail and inside file which is whom. Okay, so kafaru has both things. Okay, this kafaru is becoming what here? Kafaru is becoming the sila. Allazina is mausul, is a mausul. Kafaru is the sila. Allazina kafaru together is a jumla mausula, and this whole jumla, by the way, is serving the purpose of ism of inna. It means obviously allazina kafaru is not ism now, but now the whole jumla is fi mahalli nasab. Why? Because ism of inna is a nasab. I just pronounced something which inshallah a bit advanced. Inshallah, don't worry about that. At this stage, just remember this much. Allazina is sila, kafaru is allazina is a mausul, kafaru is the sila, allazina and kafaru together is jumla mausula. Just remember this much. Forget if I said something else, just forget it. For now, we don't need to inshallah go further to that stage. Okay. Now let me see. Okay, this was all you need to know about al-ism al-mawsul. Now, those who are online, please, if you have any question regarding this concept of al-asma al-mawsula, you can ask your question. The reason I introduced this today, because I know that we are going to use this a lot in the coming analysis, so we need this one. If anyone has any question regarding this concept of ism mawsul. Okay, now let me give you the homework. Is it okay if I give a little bit of homework, Brother Abdul Bari? Is it okay, inshallah?
Inshallah, we'll try.
Okay. Okay. Okay, brothers. I am expecting now, inshallah, try Suratul Ikhlas on your own. Inshallah, tomorrow, our actual task will be Suratul Falak. But inshallah, I will dedicate the first 15 minutes. If you got any question regarding Suratul Ikhlas, inshallah, they will be discussed. And then inshallah, we'll move on to for the rest of the last 20 minutes or 25, inshallah, Suratul Falak. 1 point. Second point is, obviously, like I said in the start of this course, I know you are all very busy people, okay? But we need to start our second target achieving as well, and that is vocabulary. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will not give you any vocabulary because we'll just do the analysis of the surahs. But for the rest of the 4 days, inshallah, I will only give you 3 words a day, which means for the whole week, inshallah, maximum 10 to 12 words. How to understand them, inshallah, I will introduce that to you on Wednesday in the last class. Because from this week, inshallah, we'll start, inshallah, working on the vocabulary part as well. Because in this, inshallah, level 2, we have 2 aims. Please remember these 2 aims. Number 1, to analyze the 15 short surahs of the Quran, just to practice our level 1, inshallah, skills. And number 2, to inshallah gain at least 40% of Quranic vocabulary. Inshallah, this vocabulary part, bismillah ta'ala, will start from Wednesday. Okay, if there's any question, bismillah, otherwise inshallah I am done from my side. Okay, I think there's no question. So barakallahu fi, jazakumullah khair, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.